Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you all had a safe, restful holiday season. So over the holidays, you probably heard that President Trump signed the long-awaited second stimulus bill. Now, this 5,000-page document covers a lot, but for the purposes of this video, I'm simply going to cover the highlights around the second round of the Paycheck Protection Program. So first off, for those businesses that weren't able to get a loan under the original program before it closed on August 8th, they'll actually have an opportunity to apply again under the rules of the original program with the additional modifications that I'm about to address right here. So number one, expenses that are paid with loan proceeds can in fact be deducted for tax purposes. There was a period of time where we weren't sure if that was going to be the case, but the new act made it clear that expenses that you used loan proceeds for can still be taken as a tax deduction for 2020. And this applies to round two loan proceeds as well. And then regarding expenses, allowable expenses for loan proceeds have been expanded. This includes additional operating expenses, which is like computer, software and systems, property damage expenses, supplier costs, and of course, COVID-19 protection expenses. Group life insurance, group disability insurance, vision and dental insurance can now be counted towards payroll expenses. Now, the requirement that you must use at least 60% of the loan proceeds for payroll expenses in order for it to be forgiven, that is still applicable, but they've basically added to what is considered payroll expenses. And then similar to the modifications regarding the covered period made in June of 2020, all PPP borrowers will now have the option between either an 8-week or a 24-week covered period. And then for loans under $150,000, there's a simplified forgiveness application. I think it's only one page, and there's very limited documentation that you need to provide. Now, in the first round of the Paycheck Protection Program, there were some borrowers that returned funds because they weren't confident that they actually qualified. So for those businesses that now qualify or realize that they qualified in the first place, they actually have the option to reapply. All right, now moving on to round two specifically. So businesses that received funds from the first round of the program earlier this year may also receive funds under the second round. However, qualifications are more strict. So in order to qualify, businesses must have already received and spent the first loan, which makes sense. The maximum employee qualification has been reduced from 500 to 300 employees. So basically, if you have over 300 employees, you don't qualify. Although there is an exception for businesses in the accommodation and food services industry, since that industry has been hit pretty hard. And then businesses must have reported a greater than 25% drop in revenue for any quarter in 2020 compared to the same quarter in 2019. Now, while the loan amount remains at the 2.5 times average monthly payroll costs like it did before, the total loan maximum has been capped to $2 million, as opposed to the previous max of $10 million. Now, businesses in the accommodation and food services industry actually get a little more. They can receive up to 3.5 times average monthly payroll costs, but they're still capped at the maximum of $2 million. So those are the big takeaways. I know I went through that pretty quickly, but Jeffrey Levine wrote a fantastic article at kitsis.com going through all this in much more detail. But definitely check that out if you want to learn more. I hope this was helpful. Have a great week.